Jack was larger than life. He was a giant of a man. I think he was 6'8". I never met him personally, and he was long retired by the time Steve and I were at TI, but it was really cool if you were invited to a luncheon or something with Jack Kilby, the co-inventor of the integrated circuit in 1957 or 8. So I never met Jack personally, but the relationship that Steve and Ann had with Jack came from Ann's job as communications director, and she worked directly with Jack.
Just was like a click connection between the two of them. My dad was very big into engineering. That's what he graduated with, mechanical engineering, and he worked a lot with the wafer system, the fabs in TI. And so that's what Jack Kilby was all about. They were inseparable. Like literally whenever we would talk, it was all about Jack Kilby. If it was TI, it was never about what he did within TI. It was like, oh, Jack Kilby did this, Jack Kilby did that. Whenever the wafers were coming out, you know, Jack signed them personally for my dad and gave him all these personal things that were his.
Steve had, you know, just a wonderful big house in Richardson, and he had it, all these memorabilia was displayed. He was so proud of it. His house would be packed full, and these international colleagues of ours who had probably not met Jack ever in their lifetimes, but knew about, you know, his inventions and his amazing scientific mind, they would come in and just be in awe of all this material. And Steve just loved adding to those collections.
Coming home and seeing, like, every time they come, I'm like, where did you get this from? Where did you get this from? And they're like, well, you know, it's just another thing that Jack handed down to me. And it was just like he was family, you know? And so my dad would sit down with me, or he would pull me to the side and be like, okay, this is what this is about. This is why this is hanging up, and this is why this is so special. So we always had to spend that time with me, sharing with me why these artifacts were very special every time we got one.
Myself and David Gresham and another colleague, the three of us with Steve would go out together. You know, it was much more than just working relationships. We were really friends. Steve told us about his cancer. It was during one of these meetings that he said, I've got a plan. I've got something that's really important to me. He said, I want to take all of my collection, my archives that have to do with Texas Instruments, and I want them to be appreciated by others, by the public. I'd really love this to end up at, you know, a university where other young engineers could learn and be as inspired by this as I've been. We
came to UTD because we know that you guys have a wonderful engineering department. You've done work with TI. Your students, we've learned, are amazing at their engineering. We want them to grow from what they've seen from that. So that's kind of the reason why we picked UTD. I hope that it's just history is brought to life in the engineering, because to me, I was taught and learned from my father that we wouldn't be technically in the engineering area without Jack Kilby.
I'm so glad we're doing all this, because it's, you know, I see Steve smiling up there with seeing that we are going to have this in a place where it can be appreciated.